My girlfriend and I recently got Hinge again, and it's actually so depressing. I feel like it makes me feel more scared about like my future with men. I cannot be trusted. Once I have one sip of alcohol when I'm out and about with my friends, it's like 7 drinks later, I'm crawling home and I'm dying the next day. I'm about to head out on a date. Let's make a quick little cocktail together. You know what question I hate the most?
And you see, she's always drinking. Why would you want a woman like that?
On a first date is, why are you still single? You're finding yourself when you're single. You end up being single for years because you find out really quick that you don't have to tolerate anything from just anyone. What's so annoying is the guy that you want to come up to you is not going to come up to you when you're out and about with the girls. He's not. It's always those weird, ego-driven, men that come up to you and
Ma'am, that's because those guys that you want are out of your level, ma'am. That's why.
and the second you reject them, they will spit some nasty comment, and it is comical. I spent a majority of the end of my 20s feeling scared that I was going to be single in my 30s and it was going to be this sad waiting room for love, because life isn't just about finding a partner. Society makes women feel like, oh, they're like the leftovers, or we're not worth anything and we don't have value because we're single. No, it's a choice.
I will say it again, ma'am. It's not a choice. Just because you can't find the man that you want, it doesn't mean that you're choosing to be single, ma'am. It means that the man that you want don't want you. If you were truly choosing to be single, you wouldn't be dating at all, ma'am. No matter if Prince Charming would come along, you wouldn't care because you already made the choice to be single. So you're not single by choice, ma'am.
This is going to ruffle some feathers, but I truly believe being a woman in your early 30s and single is truly the hardest. Societal pressure is at an all-time high to be in a relationship. Most of your friends are going to be in relationships, they're going to be married, they're going to have kids. So you're going to feel that pressure even more, and sometimes you're going to feel extremely isolated. Constantly deal with people asking you about your relationship status. Why aren't you dating? Who are you dating? The fear starts to kick in that you're running out of time. Pressure to settle for someone who might not actually fit the things that you're looking for. There's such a limited pool of men that are actually available. Most 31-year-old single men haven't really done the work. Men that are in their early 30s are not really an option for us. And dating older, they're typically creepy, or they just want a trophy wife. And dating younger, they're just mentally not there. Probably aren't looking for the same things. It's so challenging to manage a career while struggling to navigate the dating scene, actually find a meaningful connection. Then you also hit
the wall. No man on earth can make you fall.
I can't do a one-night stand. I can't. But what I can do is spend an entire year letting someone completely waste my time and ruin my life.
The advice that's going to change your life is going to be the advice that feels the most toxic and not intuitive to you. Because
True.
if it was intuitive to you, you would already have done it and you would already have the life you wanted.
True, that's why so many women watch my channel and they just call me an incel, because I tell the harsh reality that they don't want to hear.
Recently, my therapist said all of her clients are struggling with dating right now, every single one. And I said, whose fault is that? And then she goes, even the guys.
Women now have so much more choice and possibility of finding their own person. With like, women can be more choosy, more picky. Their standards are higher than ever. Their checklists are bigger than ever.
They're more delusional than ever.
And it's just gotten a little bit out of control, because if you have this cookie jar mentality, you can just take, and yet it's not actually what you want, and you have to think about the future.
Something I've always found a little confusing is about like insecure straight men and like incel culture is a lot of those men rely on other men to tell them what women are into, but when women come to them and explain, no, I'm actually into this, they go, no, you're into this.
Ma'am, first of all, women don't actually know what they're attracted to. That's why you see all the women say, I want a nice guy, I want a sensible guy, I want a funny guy. And if you ask them about their ex, all of them were toxic. And I'll prove it to you by showing you 2 clips that I just found while making this video. I didn't search specifically for them.
We don't know what we want.
I know.
We don't know what we need.
I know.
You don't have to be moral for women to like you. That's why girls date the drug dealer. But women will claim that morality is what they look for. For instance, there's a great point. I heard Orion Charaban saying this. Women will say, what is the most attractive thing? They'll say loyalty. And I'm like, bro, I know thousands of men who aren't loyal, and women throw themselves at these men.
At some point, every young man realizes nasty guys get more sex, and they realize that people who push women around can be very successful. And you have to say to yourself, well, is that who I want to be?
Tell me why I accidentally became a misogynistic man for 3 weeks of my life. Because my boyfriend took some time off of his job and I was working extra hard at mine. And I would come home and I'd be like, why aren't the dishes cleaned? Or I'd be like, can you make me lunch? And just the stuff I would be saying to him. I'm just like, oh my God, this is the kind of stuff like you're not supposed to say to women. I was trying not to get mad at him, but I would be like, the house is a mess. The stuff I was saying was wild.
True love, I am convinced at this point in my life, is only meant for like super pretty bitches. Like, y'all are the only ones, like, you know, when you turn to the side and you don't look like this, you get love. You get your hair.
It depends, ma'am. Usually, the hotter the women are, the less of a personality they have and the crazier they are. Why? Because every man in their life just wanted to sleep with them. They never told them the actual truth. So they act crazy. They have no filters. They don't have to develop a personality because everything in life was just handed to them on a silver platter. And everything they ever said, nobody contradicted them. Why? Just because they were hot. So it depends, ma'am.
Hair brushed, you get your hair washed, you get carried to the shower, you get taken care of when you're drunk. You get love. You get coffee in the morning. You get breakfast in bed, bitch. You get flowers and grand shows of affection. You get love. I get an afterthought. I get the...
Welcome to being a man, ma'am. This is the experience of most men today.
The back burner.
I first got out of the relationship, they were like, Aubrey, you need to go out, you need to have a good time. And you need to go sleep with men. Like, you need to, excuse my language, you need to fuck around and find out. And I'm like, no, like, that's just not really my style. Like, I just don't really want to do that. Like, also, like, you know, it's not a safe world out here. And, you know, I just don't want to do that. You know, like, I don't want to.
This is why I tell you guys, look at her friends. If all of her friends are hoes, most likely she's also a hoe. Why? Because they have this kind of mentality. Once she gets out of a relationship, go have fun. Go fuck around. Go do whatever you want. Instead of reflecting what went wrong in that relationship, why it didn't last, why it didn't work, instead of trying to figure out how men think, what men want, how to become the woman that the man that you want wants. No, you go and be a hoe. Because, of course, that will solve all your problems. Of course. That's their mentality, guys.
Respectfully, I don't want to spread my legs and have someone like enter me like that when I just don't know them. And so I like took a back seat.
Earlier you said men are demonized for having standards. I personally believe that it's not the fact that y'all have standards or preferences even. A lot of men believe that if a woman is not their type, that she shouldn't be anybody else's type. And that's why you have so many men speaking on women they would never date.
Yeah.
It's like, I wouldn't be in alignment with you, but I'm always the topic of your conversation to a point. How many times men say they won't date single mothers, but always talking about us? How many times women say they won't date a short man, but always talking about them? I don't like a man who makes a certain amount of money. I don't like this. I don't like that. It's not that y'all have standards or preferences. It's that y'all believe that if someone does not fit your standard or preference, that they are not worthy of love from anybody.
What I loved so much about this video is that she addressed how both men and women do this. You have a lot of men who don't want to date women who are overweight or who don't want to date women who are single moms.
When I say don't date overweight women, why do I say that? Just because they're overweight? No. It's because of their mentality. It's because they don't know how to eat. It's because they're addicted to food. And if you're a guy and you're not also overweight like her, and you get into a relationship with her, you will become overweight because you will start eating like her. If you have a kid, that kid will become overweight. Why? Because she doesn't know how to cook. She doesn't know how to eat properly. And that kid would get bullied, and that kid would have an awful life just because her mother has a low IQ. Again, with single mothers, it's not just because she's a single mother. It's because of her mentality. It's because she's looking now for the nice guy, because now she has standards after she had kids. But before having kids, they dated the toxic guy. All of them say their ex was toxic. So my guy, she wasn't looking for you, the nice guy, when she was single. Single mothers only date the nice guy because they already have children. When they didn't have children, they weren't looking for you. So why are you the white knight that's trying to save them now? You're not their first choice. A second point, you're never going to be a priority in that relationship. It's the baby daddy before you, it's her family before you, it's her kid before you, it's even the dog before you. You're never a priority. Plus, you have to be the protector and the provider in that relationship, but you have no authority over that kid. You can't discipline him. You can't say anything because you're not his father. If the kid doesn't like you, you're screwed. He will never like you. I had a stepdad. I didn't like him at first when I was younger. He couldn't tell me anything. Do you want a relationship like that? If you want a relationship like that, it means that you have a low IQ and you shouldn't watch my videos. Because there is no point in watching my videos. So yes, in my opinion, when I'm talking about stuff like this, no man should be dating a single mother, and no guy that is not overweight should date an overweight woman. Why? Because both of them, they will ruin your life.
Most men are, throughout their lives, on average, most physically attracted to women in their early 20s. But if you look at from a long-term dating and mating perspective, using revealed preferences, not what men say, what men actually do, you can look at, for example, men's dating app filters. And what you'll see is that as men get older, they do prefer increasingly large downward age gaps. So they prefer increasingly younger women as they get older relative to themselves. But that number quickly goes above the early 20s and eventually is over 30 and eventually over 35. So it may be true in the abstract that, you know, men are most physically attracted to quite young women, but most men are not so shallow as to only select based on physical attractiveness. They also want someone who's emotionally compatible, someone who's intellectually compatible.
My guy, you're only partially right. Yes, of course, you have to look for other qualities in a woman, because it doesn't matter how hot she is. If she's nuts, if she's crazy, if she doesn't respect you, that relationship will never work. But my guy, you forgot one important thing. Guys don't go for women in their early 20s after a certain age just because they can't get those women. And they're realists. They're not delusional like women. That's why, my guy, but if they could obtain women like that, they would go for women like that. Another guy that thinks he's smart, but he's not.
Low IQ, very low IQ.
You think the conditions for dating right now better than when you first met your boyfriend at the time, who's now your husband?
No.
Okay, why?
I just think everybody's very fickle now.
How so?
Social media, yeah.
Fickle, how so though?
People don't take relationships too seriously now. It's all very loose.
And do you think that's because of social media?
I do, yeah.
You don't think there's any other reasons?
Just phones in general, I think. Too much access.
I think the UK used to be a very religious country. People are letting go of those kind of morals.
I agree with you. I lived in Dubai for 3 years, and everybody out there is very, once they're married, that's it. And then you come back here and it's not the same.
Do you think that's good for society or bad for society?
Bad.
Yeah, why?
Yeah, well, you wanted that, ma'am. You wanted to be feminist. You wanted to be liberated, sexually liberated. You wanted to be able to do whatever you want. And now a lot of women regret that. Today, my girlfriend showed me an ad from the European Union where a bunch of feminists started talking shit about men. An ad where they said, we want to do whatever we want, men want us back in the house, we won't do that, men earn more than us, even if that myth got debunked. It got debunked in front of the parliament. But somehow it's still a myth that persists. And saying that how they want to turn the entire European Union to be more pro-women. It's already pro-women. Because of you, you can see everything that is going wrong in the world. All the illegal immigration, all the stuff that is going on, riots. It's all because of women and their feelings, the Karens. The Karens that want everybody to cater to their feelings. The Karens that want to do everything they want. Anything they want. And nobody should question them. It's because of them that the world is how it is today.
Why? Please don't hide from the camera. Come in, my love. Do you think that's good for society or bad?
Bad, probably, because, I mean, I value relationships. Yeah.
Single parent households, yeah. Children who grow up in single-parent households, especially the boys, they're more likely to become drug dealers. They're more likely to end up killing someone, more likely to end up in prison, more likely to become poor. Like, when I see the stats, it's crazy.
We're women in America. We have the highest maternal mortality rate among all developed countries.
That's because the United States has the highest percentage of maternal obesity in the world. According to the CDC, 33% of pregnancy-related deaths are due to cardiovascular conditions. It's because of their lifestyle, not because the U.S. is sexist or whatever. Next.
We're women in America. Doctors can legally perform pelvic exams on us while we're under anesthesia without our consent.
Hospitals must obtain written consent for pelvic and similar exams, the federal government says. Next.
We're women in America. We're told our life's purpose is to bear children, but there's no social supports when we do.
No social support systems when you bear children in America? Next.
We are women in America. We know that abortion is healthcare.
All of the early feminists like Susan B. Anthony, Elizabeth Cady Stanton, Margaret Sanger, Victoria Woodhull, Alice Paul, they all agreed that abortion was wrong and said things such as, if it is degrading to treat a woman as property, it is no better for a woman to treat her own child as property. Dang. Well, next.
This man just texted me and said, I like you. And I responded and I said, you don't like me, you like what I look like.
True, because he doesn't know you yet. Of course.
Let's talk about it, okay? I love versus lust, okay? You don't know me.
True.
You don't know me, so therefore you
And you just appear weak. You just appear like a simp.
cannot like me. And then he was like, no, I like you, I like your personality. Give me one personality trait. Give me one characteristic about me that you know. And no, not the fact that my favorite color is green. That does not count. Just tell me one thing. Because you don't like me. You like the version of me that you created in your mind.
Or the version of you that he saw on Instagram or on that dating app. Yeah. This is why I tell you guys, women don't like the simps. And when you give attention and affection to a woman like this that you barely know, they see it as a red flag. Why? Because she gets constant simps like you in the comments telling her how pretty she is. She wants a guy that actually wants her for something else than her looks.
If we're going to be honest, that's called being delusional. And I swear to God, men are more delusional than women these days because you don't like me. You like the version of me that you created in your head because you don't know me.
We did everything we were told to do. We got degrees, climbed ladders, and leaned the fuck in. But we're still broke, burned out, and asking, what was the point? Here's how this lie got sold on such a mass scale. Our grandmothers were told, marry well, look good, behave. You'll get a man who takes care of you. Security sorted. Then, our mothers watched that promise crumble. The affairs, the divorces, the women who did everything right, and
No, they didn't do everything right. How are you lying to everybody like that? They chose the wrong man. How can they do everything right if they chose the wrong man? Oh, but that guy lied to me. Okay, so what? You just prove that you're gullible, that you're stupid, that you don't know how to choose a good man. That has nothing to do with it. How did you do everything right if you didn't choose the right man? If you didn't choose the guy that you should be spending 40, 50 years with?
And still ended up with nothing. So they changed the script for us. You don't need a man. Financial independence, career ambition, the right guy will come along. The girl boss era was more than a hashtag. It was a cultural response to watching our mothers get burned. And we ran with it. But the system was rigged from the start. Mackenzie found women in leadership were twice as likely as men to be mistaken for junior staff, more likely to have qualifications questioned, our ideas credited to others, and when systems are meritocratic, women internalize failure. We blame ourselves for barriers that are actually systematic. So we worked harder, hustled more, leaned in until we were broke. Now
And you're still single, ma'am, and you're still complaining on TikTok. Instead of taking accountability that you did the wrong thing, you're still complaining. But in your head, you still did everything right. You didn't. If you listen to your mother that was a failure from the start, you didn't do everything right. Because you listened to somebody that was a failure in life. How can you get advice from a failure and think that you did everything right? You're delusional. We're just going to skip this video because it's very stupid.
Unpopular opinion, but being a man in today's world might actually be one of the hardest jobs on the planet. And here's why. So check this out. Women say they want sensitivity, but not too much sensitivity. Share your emotions, but don't you dare share too many or suddenly you are weak. They say be a good leader, but in the same breath, I'm not following you anywhere because I'm Miss Independent.
As I said before, they all want a leader, but they don't want to follow that leader. How can I be a leader to somebody that doesn't want to follow? It doesn't make sense.
How does that even work? They want strength with just the right amount of vulnerability, honesty, but not so honest that it points out their flaws. Because then you are the bad guy. They expect you to read their damn mind, but if you assume what they're thinking, you're wrong. Be financially stable, but also have endless free time to give all your attention to me. Because doesn't financial stability take time to build? When you hear these requests out loud, you realize how much they contradict each other.
No, you just hear how delusional they are, and you know to stay away from women like that. It's easy. It's like a big red flag that they just put in your face, and if you don't see it or you ignore it, my guy, it's your fault. You deserve everything that is coming to you.
Sounds confusing, right? But imagine being the man who's expected to figure all of this out. So here's the question. Do men really have it easier, or are we just not being honest about how impossible these expectations really are? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I know this one is going to spark a debate.
So this is why I always tell females now, when you have kids, I feel like that's when you're going to see how the man really is.
In what terms do you mean, sorry?
Because as a woman, when you have kids, like, your mentality just changes completely.
Okay, so you change completely, but you still think it's the man's fault because the man stays the same. How does that work, ma'am?
Some men, which I feel like he was like this as well, you're not able to give them the same attention because it's going to the child. Some men can't handle that. So secretly, some men do get jealous. They will.
Ma'am, do you understand that your husband should be your priority? Because if he's happy, your kids are also happy. If he divorces you, you're a broken family, so the kids aren't happy.
Will never admit it though.
In what sense though? Jealous of the kid?
Yeah, because they don't have your undivided attention. They're never going to come and say, oh, I'm jealous of my child. Some men are like that. They might say it in different ways. Like, what was said to me was, oh, you don't care about me as much. You're just focused on the kids. Like, just
it's not necessarily going on to say, oh, yeah, I'm jealous of the kids.
Yeah, it's never going to be direct.
It's not that attentiveness for you isn't there anymore.
Can we be so for real for a second? How are men, not the prize in relationships? As women, we expect men to approach us first, plan the dates, pay for the dates, drive everybody to the dates.
It's not even that, ma'am. They want a guy that makes more money than them. They want a leader. They want a guy that is successful. They want a guy that has game. They want a guy that is smarter than them. So basically, the guy that they want, the perfect guy, is better in every way. Is better than them in every way. So how can you say he's not the prize if he's better than you in every way?
Provide, protect, stay loyal to us, keep themselves looking good, keep calm in all of the situations and never freak out. And they have to do all of this without complaining. Because, God forbid they do complain, then all of a sudden they're too emotional. Or God forbid they don't make 6 figures and all of a sudden they're broke. Or God forbid they're not taller than you and all of a sudden he's too short. Or God forbid somebody tries to set boundaries and oh my God, he's too controlling. And then you're doing all of this while simultaneously yelling at him that he's replaceable and you can have any man that you want. Or you're saying that you don't need a man actually and you can do everything you want by yourself and you don't need anybody to tell you anything. And it doesn't make any sense.
You know what I find freaking hilarious? That there is so much shaming of age gap relationships as problematic, or the guy can't find a girl his own age, or even predatory. But now age gap romance is an entire book genre for women. Like, I'm not even kidding. I was shocked when I saw this. And I know the spicy book talk stuff is supposed to be all about taboo. I'm honestly pretty critical of women getting into this genre in the first place. First of all, I find it gross. Second of all, I don't think that you're a bookworm just because you read this kind of crap. It's effectively corn for women, and I think it makes a lot of them confused about how love actually works. All that said...
And not even age gaps. The most read love stories by women, the guys is always some kind of werewolf, some kind of animal, some kind of beast that they have to change. It's always like that.
It is freaking hilarious how millennial and Gen Z women will freak out at the tiniest age gap, calling them problematic, but secretly they seem to love them. Personally, I think a lot of the anti-age gap stuff is just jealousy. Like, if a woman is 30 years old and she sees a 30-year-old guy going for a younger girl, it feels unfair because she's going, wait, he's supposed to be set aside for me. And I get that,
But we told them from the start. We showed them studies that said men like younger women. We showed them studies, but they don't listen. They call us incels. And when they hit the wall, when they're 30, 35, 40, now it's unfair. How is it unfair? We told you when you were in your 20s, be careful, because that's your prime. Don't mess around with guys, with chads, because at 35 you will regret it. No, we're incels.
What really gets me is when we pretend that the woman can't meaningfully consent when she's a whole freaking adult. Like, oh, she's only 22, she's only 24. Come on. Every single solitary young woman who dated Leonardo DiCaprio, for example, knew exactly what she was doing. He wasn't lying about his age. It was a calculation on both of their parts.
It is wild to me that women will still be like mystified. Just had a back and forth with a woman who, like, honest to goodness, all men really want is for a girl to be nice to them.
True, we want peace. I had an ex that actually thought, I swear guys, that men like crazy women.
Like, that's actually it. It's honest. It's kind of sad that we've gotten to this level, but like the vast majority of men, like, their list is not long. Women convince themselves that men have this big long list, including like, oh, they can't see them in the same dress twice within a certain period of time. Like, girl, where did you get that? Like,
it's stupid. From other women on TikTok. That's where, because we, the red pill, when we tell them the truth, we're just misogynists. We don't know anything.
All men actually want is for a woman to be nice. If you really want to be the unicorn among women, you have to be 4 things. And I made up this list, okay? This comes from me. You will land any man you want if you just, like, take care of your looks, are smart enough to have a conversation, not the town bike, and nice. And nice. Like, if you're even just 2 of those things, you could probably get most men.
Yeah, bitch, I hated my husband. Yeah, I fucking hated my husband. God forbid I say the word hate, and I don't mean it. I was in the HHA, the Husband Haters Anonymous, okay? I was struggling, trying to figure out how to heal from this resentment with my husband. The first couple of
Okay, ma'am, do you understand that you chose the man that you hate? So you just show all of us that you don't know how to choose a man. You just show all of us that you have a low IQ. If the man is a loser, if the man is toxic, if the man is whatever, you're the same because you chose him. You can tell us that you're a very smart person when you choose a loser, a toxic guy, or whatever guy.
12 years after kids, we're like two rams at each other every day, okay? We had immense highs, we had immense lows, and then some days we were just kind of like sleepwalking through it.
And whose fault is that, ma'am? As we saw in the previous video, it's the woman that changes after birth. Why? It's because their hormones change. It's because they stop paying attention to the husband.
This doesn't mean that all of your marriage is terrible, right? But postpartum genuinely brings out the worst in relationships.
No, ma'am, it brings out the worst in you. And because you're the worst, he will act accordingly. That's what you don't understand. You don't want to take accountability for, ma'am. We're just going to skip this video because it's very stupid.
So I got divorced about 7 years ago, and the judge in the case awards my ex-wife half my house. I say my house because I made the entire down payment on a house we only lived in for 3 years. But the judge awards it 50-50. What am I going to do? So anyway, we lived together in this house for 2 years as a divorced pair, right? We couldn't sell. The housing market was bad. We shared a son together and there were some issues there. And it was a weird situation. Like we were both living on different levels of the home. We would both bring other people over. We were both dating other people, but yet she would still do my laundry and she would still do the food shopping. And then one day she gets into a car accident. It's an icy morning, one of those winter icy mornings, and her car hits a telephone pole. And although she was physically okay, the car was totaled. Well, guess who didn't have gap insurance, right? When we were married, I used to say, you always got to get gap insurance. And she's like, what are you, my father? Why do you always have to say stuff like that? Well, guess what? I know things.
From the start, my guy, when a woman talks to you like that, you shouldn't have married her.
You should have had gap insurance. Now she doesn't have a car. So she asked me for a $4,000 loan, and she played the whole card. Well, I drive our son around. Do you want him to be in an old jalopy? Fine. I will give you the $4,000 with the assumption that you would pay me back $200 a month until it's paid off. That was the deal. So her and her best friend go to the car dealer, and they're there. They find a car. And then she calls me and I'm at work. She goes, did you move the $4,000 over to my account yet? And I'm like, yeah, I'm about to do it now. But I'm not doing it unless that house split is 60-40. She's like, what are you talking about? I'm like, I'm talking about you're going to sign a paper that gives me 60% of this house or you're getting ugats. I'm not giving you anything. She's like, you got to be kidding me. I'm like, I am. Do I sound like I'm kidding? So that's why the house split turned out to be 60-40.
Okay, so I already watched the video, guys, and I was curious to see the comment section. I didn't make a screenshot, but I can tell you all the women in the comment section were saying, all the feminists were saying, that's why we don't get married. Even if the house was paid by him, even if they were just married for 3 years. All the women were saying how bad this guy is. I want to hear your comments. What do you think about this story? And I'll see you on the next one, guys.